All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. My name's Darren Blue.
I'm Kevin Blue.
We are the Blues Brothers, and today we are super excited to bring to you, after quite some time here, we haven't done one of these in a little bit, the incredibly talented Parker McCollum. Welcome.
Hey, thank y'all, man. I'm glad to be here.
What's up, brother?
Nothing. I'm up here in Nashville right now, writing a little bit, so it's kind of nice to be working some and things to seem a little normal. So we're doing good, though.
Yeah, it feels like things are starting to kind of open back up. Have you played any shows recently? Obviously, social distance and all that kind of good stuff. But are you starting to get back out there on the road, or are you still kind of waiting for that to kick back off?
Yeah, we're waiting a lot. We're playing 3 limited capacity shows this week. We're playing 3 nights at one venue so that we could play to everybody that want to come. And it's crazy, man. All 3 nights sold out in just a matter of a few hours. So it's I don't know if it's being back at it all the way, but it's a start.
Where are those shows at?
Those are in College Station, Texas, where Texas A&M University is. So hopefully it'll be a pretty good time.
Yeah, you've got an incredible fan base all over the U.S., but especially in Texas. Mm-hmm. What's one of your favorite venues to play down there?
Whitewater Amphitheater in New Braunfels, I think I always say. And we were supposed to headline it on 4th of July this summer, and, kind of just like everything else, it didn't happen. So, but, I mean, Whitewater is, if you've never been there, it's a great place to see one of your favorite bands.
Nice. I lived in Austin for a while, Never did float the river, but I imagine you've done that a time or two as well.
Man, I've only floated the river twice, I think. One time, the Frio River out in West Texas, or the Hill Country.
That is.
Yeah, and then one time in New Braunfels. So I'm not a huge river guy, man. I like to be on the road and be working. I don't like to have a lot of leisure time.
Fair enough.
Right on.
Well, you've been putting in work. Your debut single, Pretty Heart, has got over 20 million streams already. It's been crushing it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Man, that's been crazy. If you'd have told me whenever we wrote that song that it would do as well as it's been doing, I don't think I would have believed you. Actually, I wasn't too high on the song when we first wrote it. And then when we got in the studio and cut it, I was like, this is better than I thought it was. And then it just, to sign with Universal and that be our first song out on national radio, and for it to, be doing what it's doing is kind of a dream come true. So there's with everything else going on this year, that's kind of been a bright spot.
I mean, all your music, all your streaming numbers, everything has such an incredible response, and it's just good music. I was listening to it all day, and I love it personally, and I know Kevin does too. So would love to hear what you're thinking about starting off with here today.
Man, I was going to right as the start of quarantine, we had already had this song. It was my first ever outside cut, which I was really, really excited to get to do, because an outside cut is a very easy thing to do. You already know the song's good. You don't have to worry about anything. You just go in and sing it. Which was kind of a little weight off my shoulders while trying to write this album. But when quarantine hit, everything was already planned to roll out, a couple weeks later, and the label was cool enough to just kind of continue with that and let it go as planned. And it did really well, man. I think people dug it, and I just think it's a great song that I was fortunate enough to get to cut and put out there. So I was going to play that. Y'all think you're ready? Is this time?
We're ready. All yours.
Okay, it's called Like a Cowboy. When I was 6, I had 245 strapped to my hips, wanted dead or alive. And all of the girls thought that I was a good guy at heart. When I got to high school, not much really changed. I ran from the cops in my soaked up Mustang. And all of the girls else thought that I was a good guy at heart. And I ride like a thief on the run, say goodbye to the things that I've done. And I fly like the wind to the sunset, just like a cowboy should do. Just like a cowboy should do. Girl, I will love you the best that I can, but you need to know that I am what I am. And I'm not a bad guy, but I'm not a good guy at heart. And I'll ride like a thief on the run, say goodbye to the things that I've done. And I'll fly like the wind to the sunset, just like a cowboy should do. Just like a cowboy should do. Wish I could tell you that I'll always stay, but I can't help that God made me this way. But I know that there'll come a day when I ride like a thief on the run, say goodbye to the things that I've done. And I'll fly like the wind to the sunset, just like the cowboy should do. Just like a cowboy should do. Just like a cowboy should do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nice. Beautiful.
Sounded awesome.
And I understand that's a tribute to your grandfather.
Yeah, well, dude, that was my first ever outside cut. Al Anderson and Chris Stapleton wrote it like 15 years ago or something like that. And Stapleton never cut it or put it out. And the label sent it to me close to a year ago now, I think. When I was driving down the road one day back home, and I listened to it probably 6 or 7 times in a row. I sent it to my dad, and I was like, dude, I got to sing this song. It just reminded me so much kind of how I grew up with my granddad. He was one of the greatest cowboys to ever live. And it just one of those things, right as I heard it, I was like, God, if I felt like I could have, I would have written that song. And just kind of connected with it immediately. And going into the studio and it being my first outside cut was my first experience with not having to worry about whether the song was good or not. Usually I'm with the lyrics in the vocal booth, making last minute changes. And is this good? Is this good enough to, is it ready to even be recorded? And so with Like a Cowboy, I didn't have to worry about any of that. I knew it was a good song. So it was really an easy experience, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
So I got a follow-up. What's one of your favorite cowboy memories of your grandfather?
Man, that's a long list. It was crazy. Man, we were just ranch hands for him all summer long, every summer growing up. And me and all my cousins, my brother. And man, there was times where I was 13, 14 years old, pulling a 30-foot aluminum gooseneck trailer full of cows down Interstate 45, and he'd be asleep in the passenger seat, and I'm sitting on a phone book just so I can see over the steering wheel. And They just don't make them like that anymore. And so every album, every piece of music I've put out kind of has a little something to do with him and a little shout out to him. It was crazy, man. I always say if everybody had a granddad like that, the world would probably be a lot better place. So I was very lucky to have him.
Amen. And so Texas is home. What part of Texas are you from originally?
I grew up just north of Houston, and then moved to Austin a few days after I graduated high school, thinking that singing country music was no big task. And that was 9 years ago now, so still trying to make it. It was a little harder than I thought.
Well, you're doing pretty good with the first single on Universal there.
Yes, sir.
You've got another song that you just released that's been killing it. Got over 2 million streams right out of the gates, called Young Man's Blues.
Yeah.
Tell us about that one a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs I've written in quite a while. I think that was a real late night. One night, I'd started it just kind of out of nowhere. We're just sitting on the couch, and we'd been getting after it for a few hours, me and some of my buddies at my place. So everybody, I think, was feeling pretty good. And I started singing it, and they were like, "Damn, what is that?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I sat on it for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And I was up here in Nashville riding with my buddy Randy Montana, who I had written Pretty Heart with. And I was like, "Man, does this sound like something you'd want to, work on?" And, it's kind of like when we wrote Pretty Hard. He was like, "Yeah, I want to, let's finish that." And we did. And he just, every time we do that, he's just pulling these things out of me that I'm thinking, but I can never figure out, or I never really admit that it takes me a little bit of time to say them or say them out loud. And he's really good at kind of, pulling those things out of me in just kind of a real easy way. It doesn't force anything or push anything. And, so Young Man's Blues just kind of came together real organically. And when it was done, I was like, I really like this song, which is not common for me. Most of the stuff I write, all our biggest songs are songs that I was like, no, we shouldn't cut that. And I'm wrong. I was right on that one.
Nice. Well, what do you want to do next here?
This is a song. We got an EP coming out next month, and this is a song that I was really hoping was going to be on it. And so, but it got pulled. It's going to be on the full album coming out next year. And another thing that I really, this is a song that I really was pretty high on when we wrote it. And it's called "To Be Loved by You." Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Finding out why I shouldn't take this along. Easier said than done, I guess. I'm a little bit harder to love than the rest. Why does this have to be so hard? Doing my best to hold your heart, and I never let it go again. So why are you always angry? Why are you always quiet? Why do you sleep alone when I know you don't like it? Maybe you might be different. I kill you to tell me the truth. What in the hell does a man have to do to be loved by you? Hell, I've been running as fast as I can, and you'll never get over what you can't understand. Pissed off, hanging up a telephone. Forever ain't far, I'm headed home. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Last time you're ever gonna find me gone, and I'll never let you go again. So why are you always angry? Why are you always quiet? Why do you sleep alone? And I know you don't like it. Maybe you might be different. But kill you to tell me the truth. What in the hell does a man have to do to be loved by stay long. And I know you don't like it. Maybe you might be different. To kill you to tell me the truth. What in the hell does a man have to do to be loved by you? To be loved by you.
Yes, sir.
I think I forgot how it ended. That's pretty close.
So that'll be on the full album, not the EP,
Correct.
right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you said? Awesome. Well, love that one. Can't wait to have the EP come out, and then, of course, the full album. You said sometime next year it's looking like?
Yeah, I think full album will be Q1 of next year. So January, February, hopefully not March. Hopefully it's January, February.
And then do we have like a rough date on the EP, or what can people expect?
October something.
Okay, we won't hold you to it. We know there's a lot of moving parts, so
no, we can't say the exact date. Which I never know why.
Just ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah, ballpark. I would say one of the very middle days of October. One of the very middle days, if that makes sense. Easy math. Easy math.
Awesome. All right. Well, what you can do is go download and stream Pretty Heart right now, and Young Man's Blues, and all the other great music that's on Spotify and iTunes and all that good stuff. I did want to thank everyone for hopping on here on Facebook. We've had just nothing but amazing comments, and I'd love to call a couple of them out.
Cool.
Christopher John Hernandez says Parker has already made it. He's a household name in Texas. So that's got to feel pretty good. Morgan Adams said Conroe wants you back with a big old smiley face. And Sam Jenkins out there said, wish you could hear my Tennessee girl sing on the front porch right now. Old Becky Henry, love your love for Grandpa Cowboy.
Oh, thank you, Becky Henry.
Well, if you're up for it, let's do a little encore over on Instagram, a little one song. Should we tell them what it is in advance, or keep the ace in the hole?
Well, yeah, you can tell them. It's the one that keeps. It looks like the news station. It's the one that's sliding down on the bottom there. We'll play
the smash single, Pretty Heart.
Yeah, say that smash single. That sounds good.
So if you guys want to see that encore, go follow. If you're not already following Parker McCollum on Instagram, it's just at Parker McCollum, correct?
Yep. Yes, I think.
And then at Country Rebel. If you guys aren't familiar with our platform, we will be going live from both of those. At Parker McCollum, at Country Rebel, and he's going to sing Pretty Hard. Yeah, that wraps up the Facebook side of things. Thank you, everybody, for watching out there. Parker, thank you. And we'll pick it up in just a minute here. Yeah.
Kevin and Darren, see y'all in a bit, man. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. See you over there.